Welcome back to Lightspeed Junior. I'm Nitasha, and today I'm going to do something I've never done on the show before. I am going to sew something. I have been wanting to make a Bendy bag because Bendy is one of my favorite characters from Bendy and the Ink Machine, Bendy and the Dark Revival. You know them. I love them. So I wanted to take you on a sewing journey with me. Now, here's a disclaimer. I am not a professional. I repeat, I am not a professional sewer. I do like to sew plushies. I do costumes for my boys each year. I hand sew majority of what I do because even though I have a machine, hand sewing is just very therapeutic for me. It puts me in a zen kind of moment, so I like to hand sew. But I wanted to try a backpack this time. I wouldn't call it a tutorial. I would just call it a going on a sewing journey with me. And I want to take you through what I do. So hopefully this can help someone. I'm going to try my best to explain the process of what I do, but I know there's some professional out there probably cringing in their waking life to see how I do my process. So I just thought I'd throw that disclaimer out there. But without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, I wanted to show you the sketch that I'm working with. I drew this a while ago. This is a concept sketch. I highly doubt it's going to look exactly like this. Most of my creations don't look exactly how I plan it. They look somewhere close to it. So this is just kind of how I want to make it. But that's the part of the journey that I like the most, is seeing what I come up with towards the end. So yeah. So my ultimate goal is to make sure that my bag does fit my iPad, because my iPad is with me 90% of the time. So I want to make sure, number one, it's able to fit. That's why I keep using my iPad as a reference, not only to look at the bag shape, but to make sure that that's going to be able to fit in there. So right here, I am just cleaning it up and making sure that I got the horns the way I really wanted them. So I'm just modifying one more time to get the best shape possible for what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm just using the leftover pattern from the first time to make the face pattern. Now I'm making the hand pattern. So now that I have my pattern complete, I did have to go to the fabric store and get fabric. I let my boys choose what fabric I should put inside my bag for the lining. I don't know why I asked them, because they said yes to everything, but the first two that really caught my eye were the star and the bones. So now that I have bought my black fleece, my white fleece, and my two linings, I'm going to actually use the star lining for most of the inside of the bag, and then I'll figure out what I want to do with the bones fabric later. So the first step, I'm actually going to start working on the back part of the backpack first, the back outer part and the inside lining, and I'm pinning down the pattern. Just kidding. So for what I'm about to do, I totally forgot. I need to flip this fabric, the star fabric, inside out. So let me fix that real quick. I am honestly glad that I figured out that I had it backwards before I started sewing, so hooray for catching that in the early stages. Okay, now it's time to sew it, so wish me luck. So this is the stitch I use. It's just the basic back stitch. I'm a very simple lady. Now that I'm done sewing this piece, I'm actually cutting off the excess fabric so I can move on to the next part. So right here, I have left a hole opening. So this is why I needed to be flipped in the reverse or inside out way, is because I'm going to be pushing it right side in. That way all the seams that I just sewed, you won't see them because they'll be invisible inside the fabric. So here's the back. Also, in case you're wondering, that hole that I pulled it through, I'm going to sew that part just so you know I didn't forget it. A little hole. Time to move on to the next part. All I'm doing is just repeating the steps I used for the back piece, and I'm getting ready to pin things down and sew it. Also, I'm really glad I was digging around and I found my really funky looking pin cushion that had all my pins, because I've been looking for it and it couldn't have come at a better time. Okay, so I'm going to sew it, but this time I'm going to leave my opening down at the bottom, so you'll see why in a minute. So here is the front piece and the back piece. Okay, so here is the front piece. So the next step is I am going to put some fluff in here because I want to poof out the top, or not the top, I want to poof out the front of my backpack just a little bit, and then we're going to move on to either doing the outer parts to connect them next, or either the face. I haven't decided yet. Nice and squishy. Look at that. So soft. My connector piece that's going to connect to the front and back of the backpack. See, already sewed it. I just did the same process where I sewed this inside out, and then when I was done I left an opening right here so I could pull it through, and now I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the other pieces real quick. So here we are. I have attached with pins. As you can see, I'm making that connecting piece, so that way I can connect the purse together from front and back. This section I'm leaving open because this is where my zipper is going to be, I don't know if anyone notices, but the zipper is not going to be at the top. It's actually going to be on the side. I wanted to try something different. Since I am the one designing the bag, I might as well have fun with it. Now it's time to sew this piece on. Get it all connected. So for this sewing round, I'm not using the regular back stitch. I'm using like a cross stitch. I don't know what the proper term is, but it's like a back and forth motion on the edges of the fabric to connect them. So it'll make it look invisible. And by invisible, I mean the seams are invisible. Just for fun, I wanted to show you what it looked like reversed. Isn't it cute? And you can't even see any of the seams. It's awesome. So now it's time to move on to the zipper section and sewing off the bottom of that fluff to connect everything. And I never did mention this, but I was using a tape measure off camera. I just thought it was something important to say. That way I can get my numbers right and make sure everything adds up. So now I'm just cutting the pieces to get the fabric ready for the zipper, and I chose to do the zipper as its own separate piece this time because normally I just sew everything together and I always have trouble with the zipper, so I wanted to make sure it's on its own so I can focus better. Now that the zipper piece is all connected together and sewn, I'm going to flip my bag inside out and pin the zipper piece to the bag and start sewing. So once I'm done sewing the piece onto the purse, this is how it should look. So I can open it up like this, and you won't be able to see the seams because they'll all be on the inside. I went on ahead and sewed on the zipper piece off camera. Remember that zigzag cross stitch I showed you? That was the stitch I used to connect the piece to the purse. Okay, so this is where we're at. I went on ahead and sewed an outer zipper. So that way it's a double zipper process. This one is the outer one, that way, because I know the zipper's on the side, which I really wanted it to be, but just as an extra security measure, I went on ahead and sewed this other zipper on the outer part, and it actually is towards my back. So what I did is just did the same kind of sewing process I did for the connector for the front and back to connect the pieces, and I chose the bones for this part because I wanted it a little bit special, just to kind of break up the stars. But yeah, so let's move on to the face. So this is what I have so far. I sewed everything on here, like the bigger pieces. Next, what I think I'm going to do is draw the smile with a pencil and then use that as my guide for sewing it. So let's see what I come up with. Also, as a side note, I know it's looking kind of shabby. It's got like lots of fluff and random pieces on it. I will be lint rolling it at the very end, but right now I'm not really concerned about that part because I'm still working on it. So it'd be kind of counterproductive if I kept cleaning it off. But just know I see it and I will be touching it up at the very end. I don't know if you can see it, but I drew a very faint smile just to give me a guide reference. So here's a smile. I'm sorry. I used yarn to make this smile. And I swear it looks like he's just like what face is this? But I love it. It has its own charm and I'm going to keep it just like this. Oh my goodness. I'm going to plop in which emoji I think this looks like because I have one. I'm so done. Oh my goodness. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add yarn to finish the gloves with the little line. So now what I'm going to do is attach the little handles. I don't know what you call these, loops, handles, the things to attach the straps. 2 there and 2 down here. So I thought it would be stronger to sew on yarn instead of thread in the back of the backpack to connect the buckles. And then I started sewing on the elastic straps to the back. Okay, so I've attached everything, sewed it up and whatnot. Who knows, I might do some adjusting here, but for now I figured I would just do the yarn and see how this works because it is tougher than the thread. So I'm gonna wear it around a little bit, like a couple of days, and see how I feel, and if I make any adjustments I'll come back with another video on that. But so far I love it. This is so cute. So as I mentioned, I did fill up my new backpack with my iPad, my wallet, all that fun stuff, and I took it to work with me. My backpack is actually surprisingly roomy inside. I can fit quite a bit in there, and the double zipper system really helps me feel safe when I'm out and about. But overall, it holds everything. I am very surprised and impressed with my backpack. So my only concern was the buckle system. With the yarn, that wasn't the problem, but it was very wobbly because it was slipping around with the loops, the loop clampers. So I did come back before I went to work and made an adjustment. I did use more fleece to sew and reinforce the buckle to keep the clampers in place at the top, and in the future I probably will do the same for the bottom, but right now I'm not concerned with that because it is holding in place a little bit better than the top. So overall, I love it. I love everything about my backpack. It's cuddly, it's machine washable, it holds a whole bunch of stuff, and it has comfortable elastic straps that I can wear for hours. I love it. Overall, it took me roughly 4 days to complete this backpack. It was a few hours here and there in each evening, and I would probably do it again because X-Ray is hinting that now he wants one. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. And this is Nitasha signing out. Bye!